I think more people want something in-depth in terms of the review of the Tom Bower book than don't. So some people just wanted one episode, other people want more. So I am going to do the first
B. Written about on the whole whose lives are shrouded in mystery and they want to hide their secrets. And I just love digging away to find out what they don't want us to know. When I was pregnant and Harry says, "Oh, there was a little discussion before we got married." Well, something's wrong right there. But anyway, he had to admit that actually those stories had been published by other newspapers, days prior, and that's where they got the information from. Or the fact sometimes the palace released information themselves and Prince Harry wasn't aware of it, or the fact that, it was just sources and friends or people close to Prince Harry. I wonder when you watched Meghan Markle speak out, what went through your mind? Public service, it's a bright, sharp, hot spotlight, and most people don't understand it, nor should they. The thing that I always keep in mind is that none of this is about us in public service. It's about the people that we serve. All Samantha's questions from her lawyers, whether she lied about Samantha, about Thomas Markle and her notorious interview with Oprah Winfrey. So that's a major breakthrough for Samantha Markle, for Thomas Markle, and for the truth. Prince Harry thought he could silence the critics, but Lady C just turned the volume all the way up. After reports surfaced that Harry is looking to sue both Lady Colin Campbell and royal biographer Tom Bower, things got messy. And by messy, we mean royal secrets, shady birth rumors, and lawsuits that could blow the whole Sussex narrative wide open. From viral baby bump theories to courtroom threats. This is the tea the palace did not want served. So grab your snacks, because we're diving deep into the scandal shaking Buckingham. And trust me, you'll want to stay till the end. Is married to a professional journalist who was the editor of the Evening Standard. Fondness for, shall we say, stretching the truth? Could the single case see Harry caught up in his own web of lies? To answer this and much more, I'm delighted to welcome the world's top royal author. He of course published Revenge, Meghan, Harry, and the War Between the Windsors, Tom Bower. So Tom, this feels like a significant development tonight. What's happening? Well, if I was Meghan, I'd be undoubtedly very worried tonight what the judge decided. I was shocked to hear that. I mean, is that who he is? Well, I think Harry is a very complicated person because he's not very intelligent and undoubtedly remains damaged by the early death of his mother, Diana, and he very foolishly blames the media for having, in his words, murdered her, which is complete nonsense. But I think he loved the adulation. He loved it when he was being praised, especially when he was a soldier. But then he became criticized. That Samantha only called herself Markle when Meghan was engaged to Harry, which Samantha says is a total lie. Interestingly, Samantha also says that Meghan's story about having a Ford Explorer where she could only get in through the boot was also untrue. She goes through a whole load of Meghan's lies. So by July, that is what the judge has said. These depositions, this cross-examination of Meghan will take place for the trial to start in October. So Meghan really has a problem because until today her lawyers have been saying, "This is so ridiculous we refuse to even engage with Samantha Markle." Prince Harry is reportedly fuming. And it's not just about headlines anymore. Word on the street is he's now considering full-on legal action against royal biographers Lady Colin Campbell and Tom Bower, the same duo who've made a career digging up palace secrets just went there calling out the odd secrecy surrounding the births of Archie and Lilith. And let's just say they didn't tiptoe around it. They flat out suggested that there are inconsistencies in the whole birth narrative. No hospital photos, no clear confirmations, and no solid timelines for royal births, which usually follow strict protocols and end up with those iconic hospital step photo ops. That's weird. It's really weird. Very juicy, stunning. First of all, your reaction. Prince Harry popping up at the United Nations of all places on Nelson Mandela Day preaching away about climate change again, having apparently got there by private jet. Again. Preaching about politics in America, which no royal's supposed to ever do. So that the Constitution's being wound back and so on. Whining about sort of the terrible painful year he's had and all the rest of it. What do you make of this? Why does he do this? What does he think he achieves by it? Well, and also saying all that work to do in Africa, which he dedicated his life to, but prefers now to paddle in the Pacific. An unintelligent man who is seeking a role and has got really nobody on whom he could rely, which is in the end where Meghan stepped in, and a needy man, a woman who could help him with his needs. Now, when Harry caught wind of what was said during their broadcast, insiders say he went off behind closed doors. And honestly, of course, who wouldn't? They didn't just throw shade, they dropped a whole storm. They touched on his personal behavior, hinted at things being covered up, and basically challenged the whole Sussex story. According to them, Harry and Meghan have been carefully shaping a public image that doesn't exactly match reality. And they believe it's all about keeping control, especially when finances are tight. But here's where it gets even messier. Lady C and Bower, they're not rattled. In fact, they seem ready for the smoke. These two are pros at exposing royal drama. And they've got receipts, sources, documents, testimonies, you name it. They're standing firm, saying they're not just stirring the pot for clout. They believe what they're sharing is legitimate. Lady C even gave the vibe of let him sue me. Like she's more than ready to go toe-to-toe in court. And if that happens, legal experts are already warning that Prince Harry might have to open up personal records in the process. Including, yep, those birth documents. Meghan is a person who controls the narrative. Meghan was on a manhunt. She was looking for a husband, and she carefully researched all his strengths. And more importantly, his weaknesses. After the Oprah Winfrey interview, it clearly was very toxic. To make things even more suspicious, Buckingham Palace has stayed dead silent. No denials, no clarifications. Just a classic, we don't engage in Speculation kind of statement. And you know how the internet works. Silence. Like that only makes people dig harder. Clips from the interview have already gone viral. Hashtags are trending. And people are revisiting old footage of Meghan's pregnancies like they're CSI analysts. The bottom line, this could be way bigger than just media scandal. If Harry and Meghan's story gets picked apart in court, it could seriously damage their credibility and maybe even their standing in royal history. And the more Harry tries to control the story, the more it feels like the narrative is slipping through his fingers. He had to admit that actually those stories had been published by other newspapers, days prior, and that's where they got the information from. Or the fact sometimes the palace released information themselves and Prince Harry wasn't aware of it, or the fact that, it was just sources and friends or people close to Prince Harry. And that's the difficulty in this particular case actually proving phone hacking, which Prince Harry clearly has not done. And in many instances he said, that's what we're here to find out. I don't know how you can really bring a case against someone if you don't have any hard evidence. I think he assumed that because of the number of people that are also suing the MGM group, he would have a stronger case. Or will be able to at least prove to the judge that some unlawful activity has gone on. But he didn't have the comfort of being in Oprah's living room. He was being interviewed by a very seasoned barista who made him look like a lot of the allegations that he was bringing against the MGM group was just based on pure speculation and Harry's paranoia and his disdain for the media, which he hasn't shied away from.